homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Hi boys and girls, welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today's episode is brought to us by the letters P and O. No, it's not pissed off. It's optimism and practicality. Alright? I am optimistic that I've got some corn in the field. But I'm practical enough to know that I probably don't. Now, if you follow the channel, you know that back in June, about June the 6th, 5th, something like that, I planted 6 rows of sweet corn between 8 and 12 inches apart. Basically, I planted 600 stalks of corn because there were some skips and some didn't come up. And okay, so basically I have 600 stalks of corn in what looks like a weed field here behind me. Now, that corn should have been ripe starting this week. This is August the 18th, 17th. This week, the corn should have been ripe. But I've had problems with coons this year. Now, every year, you have to be proactive at maintaining the wildlife on your homestead. Now, I maintain large areas in my fence rows, 20, 25 feet, sometimes 40 feet. Right behind me over here where my deer stand is, there's a 40-foot fence row that's just a grown-up wild area. If I turn you down through here, you'll notice that all down along these fence rows, okay, see the trees all the way around? Alright, I maintain a fairly large wild space, and I try to practice not doing recreational mowing. That's what I call it. Some guys get on their tractor and they just get out there and they love to mow. They mow every week. They mow all their acreage. You know, they've got 10 acres, they mow it all. Well, I'm not like that. I think you should leave some wild spaces. You want some places for the quail, the doves, the raccoons, the possums, the groundhogs. You need some spaces for them, but you can't let them overpopulate. I think what I'm going to find when I get in this field, and I'm going to take you in there with me, is I'm going to find that there's almost no corn. I think I'll be lucky if I get a dozen ears. And you go, wow, what ate 600 to 800 ears of corn for you? Well, I've been setting traps, and you can go back, you can see a video of me setting traps originally when they first started on the field, and I caught that they were at it. I started setting traps. Well, I've only got two traps. So let me show you what I've come up against. Now, I started setting my traps with cantaloupe, and that worked real good, but I only had so many cantaloupe. So I went over to our local dollar store and got me a couple packs of marshmallows. Coons like those too. So I went and got me a couple packs of marshmallows. Now, this trap was set last night and it's thrown, and the marshmallows are gone. So there's still another coon out there. But this trap has raccoon number 11. Did you hear that? Raccoon number 11. Now, 11 raccoons that I've caught in the past 3 weeks. 11. 10, 11. Now, about, I would say, 6 of those have been yearling raccoons. And this one right here, he looks like he's probably 2 years old. He probably weighs about 10 or 11 pounds. I've got a couple of 30-pounders weighed them. Okay, I've got a couple of 30-pounders. They're corn fed. So they started getting these ears of corn when the ears of corn were 4 or 5 inches long. They started going in there and pulling them off and eating cob and all. And the way they do it, they get on the stalk, they climb up, they grab an ear, and then they just fall, boom, and jerk it off. Now, the smaller raccoons, they leave the stalk standing. In some of the areas where you see standing corn, and there's standing corn back there behind me, in the weeds too, there's plenty of weeds. There's standing corn back there, but that corn was done by the smaller raccoons. They pull the ears off and the corn stalk's still standing. Now some of the stalks are down. That hurts my bean harvest. It's not just corn, it hurts my bean harvest. Now the coons could care less about the beans. So I've got to deal with him. And if you watch the channel, you know that I did a video about a certain air rifle and its purpose as a great homesteader weapon. Okay? Now, in Kentucky, where I live, get in my pocket. In Kentucky, where I live, it is illegal to take a wild animal and transfer it from one spot to another and release it. Okay, so releasing is out of the question. That's why sometimes this lifestyle is not suitable to everybody. People don't want to do what's necessary sometimes to maintain their gardens and that kind of thing. This is raccoon number 11. You saw that there was a trap that was throwed, all the bait gone, trap throwed. That raccoon was probably huge. He probably got back there and the trap threw and hit him on the butt, and he just backed right back out of it. So we'll set it again for him tomorrow. So I'll take care of Rocky Rodent here. He's not a rodent. Raccoons are not rodents, but I'll take care of this raccoon, and then we'll go down and have a look in the field and see what the damage is and see if I'm going to get a corn harvest. You know, this is a thing. Preppers have to be optimistic, but they also have to be pragmatic. So let's get down in the field after I'm not going to show getting rid of Rocky. So okay, there are 6 rows of corn here. 1, 2, 3. So this is right in the center. So I'm going to go right down through the center of this and see what we're looking at. And here is the result of what they do. See there? Where they pulled it off and then just ate it. Now, going down through here, see the stalks, the cobs that have been removed. Okay, they get right up to the point that they're going to be ripe in the next week, and the coons just lay waste to them. Again, this is 600 stalks of corn. I see I got some beans hanging on, and I'm going to need to harvest some of them soon. But the beans are still blooming. Well, there's 2 ears, but they're not full. Don't know if they're going to get full. There's an ear, but see, it's just a little bitty nubbin. And there's one, again, just a little bitty nubbin. They pulled off the good ear. See, there would have been a good ear right there, but they left this little ear and pulled off the good one. Let's keep going down through here. Oh. It's hard to hold the camera and not fall over. See, here it is again. Well, they've rode the corn down and ate it. See, all down in here the same way. I'm about halfway into my cornfield, and I haven't seen a pickable ear. See, there's the leavings. See, they left these ears. See these little ears? But they took the one that was right there. That would have been the one for us. If they take the little ears, I wouldn't give a crap. But they don't do that. They want the best for themselves. It's kind of the way me and Crystal want it too. We want the best for ourselves. I don't see another ear down through there. So they've taken about 800 ears of corn. So, see, laying down here. Crapola. Well, that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid there wasn't going to be an ear of corn. And there's not. I've got some beans. See here? These are bean seeds, basically. They're not good and full, but let's keep going down through here a little bit. Maybe the closer I get to the other end, maybe. Well, looking down through there, I'm almost to the other end, and they've been all the way down in here too. They've taken every ear of corn out of this field. We're not going to get an ear. Okay, there it is. Not an ear of corn left in my cornfield. I have at least 600 stalks, so I should have about 800 ears of corn. They wiped them out. So I've got 11 coons so far. Number 12's out there somewhere because he threw the trap last night and got out. So we're talking about a whole gardening season for corn gone. I don't have enough time to plant any back to get it. That's what comes up with prepper persistence. Now, I have a whole bunch of other things besides corn planting. I'm going to harvest beans out of here. I've got another bean patch. I've got turnips. I've got rutabagas. I've got potatoes. I've got sweet potatoes. Preppers and homesteaders have to be persistent. You can spend your time being pissed off, and it's just really not going to do you any good. You take care of the problems that come, and then the next year you try again. This year was a coon problem. Year before last, if you remember, it was a groundhog problem. Okay, do you remember? So, you're going to have those. Every year, you need to make sure that you are diligent about what you got to get rid of. I've got to get rid of these coons so that next year, not going to be a problem. Now, I may contribute to some of this because I feed barn cats here on the property. I've got some barn cats that in the winter I feed them. And because it's hungry country out here in the winter, but maybe the raccoons are getting part of their food. So I need to be more diligent in just feeding them every day and just the amount that they're going to eat for the day, instead of leaving them out an amount. I've got a feeling the coons have probably been eating that, and it's helping the coons multiply. So I'm going to have to do that. I've had to take care of the coons. I'm going to send Rocky back here to freezer camp here in just a little bit. But that's the way it goes on a homestead. It's life and death. It's not just all roses and peaches and cream and doing what you want to and organic gardening and There's bugs, there's wildlife, there's birds, there's other animals. I try and plan enough that had I had 1 or 2 coons and they were going down in this field and they ate 200 ears of corn, wouldn't bother me a bit. Crystal and I put up about 300 ears of corn every year. Now, we can a canner load, which is about 20 pints, and the rest of it we cut off the cob and put in the freezer. We still have canned corn and corn cut off and in the freezer from 2 years ago. Remember, last year I got sick and couldn't do nothing with the garden after August. So the corn languished. Of course, it didn't do good because I did it in wide rows, so it didn't make any difference. So I'll get Rocky skinned out here and ready for the freezer camp. Boy, I tell you, this is getting old. Raccoon number 12 and raccoon number 13. This really hurts my feelings, but if I'm ever going to continue to homestead and grow a corn crop, they've got to go. We got what looks like an older raccoon and a yearling. So, crap. Okay, I never get used to that. The traps will get reset again tonight. That's 13. So they've been eating heavy. That was a yearling and probably a sow. So there it is. I hate this part of homesteading. And if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.